Look, we're in our early to mid-20s. Our parents didn't know what YouTube was when we were growing up until we were well into high school. Even then, they thought it was just videos of cats and people falling over. The new generation's parents definitely know what YouTube is, and maybe even go to it for parenting advice. The more insane of them may even get the impression that their parenting is the best parenting and needs to be shared with the world. Best of all, they can do it for a profit.
Kids being exploited in the media isn't necessarily anything new. Toddlers and Tiaras first aired in 2009, World's Strictest Parent in 2008, and Super Nanny all the way back in 2005, a month before YouTube even launched. What is new is being able to exploit your kids yourself for a profit.
Parents putting their kids in YouTube videos is a weird gray area with child labor laws. In Hollywood, child actors have the Coogan Law, at least, which requires parents to put 15% of their kids' profit into a savings account for them.
You may recognize John Leslie Coogan, known as Jackie Coogan, from the silent film The Kid, starring opposite Charlie Chaplin, where Coogan became the first child star of Hollywood. He became a superstar kid. He was the first to be heavily merchandised, and you'd see his face on anything from toys to food products and more.
Nothing like that, no protection like that exists for kids on YouTube. With a 9-year-old boy being the highest paid YouTuber in 2020, making $30 million, maybe it should? Just a thought.
Plus, it's just fucking weird. YouTube videos that feature kids under the age of 13 get as much as 3 times as many views as videos that don't feature children. Some family channels must have caught wind of this because they have started doing the most exploitive, abusive, hard to watch videos about their kids. It's gross and just downright awful. Let's show my mom. We're going to be talking about this phenomenon. Parents, pretty much, it's taking child stars to a whole new level. Pretty much starting from a literal birth and putting them on blast
via
vlog,
the internet,
TikToks. Well, there's parenting TikToks, which are fine, but then there's also like, look at my child.
Yeah, I've seen some of them. Like, there's some that are just a parenting tips account where it's just an adult giving you parenting tips. And then I've seen where people have the conspiracy theories. I've seen some pretty blatant dressing up children like adults and posting videos and things like that. So I think that's what you're talking about, and I've seen both.
A generally young mom. You know, you had me when you were, what, like 18?
18, yes.
And this was back, you know, in the 90s and the early 2000s where technology wasn't nearly as where it is today, especially social media didn't even exist. Did you ever have the urge to just, like, document?
Expose you?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I have a lot of pictures from when you were a baby. We took a lot of pictures, but it would be they were like disposable camera pictures for myself. I didn't go like posting them out on like, you know, neighborhood bulletin boards, like, because that's what I kind of equate it to. You know what I mean? This is, look what my child does. Look, I mean, that's just asking for a predator to come in, and I don't think people think about it that way. But no, I never had the inkling. I was a private person anyway. I didn't want to expose myself at that point, but no, especially in the way I've seen briefly. There's no.
Even if there was like, because I think a lot of the times these young moms maybe kind of start off with good intentions. You know, maybe they just want to, you know, relate to other moms out there or kind of build a scrapbook, an online scrapbook. But they get sucked into the monetization of it, and it's weird that, like, it seems like as soon as large sums of money are involved, that parental
protection goes out the window.
As a parent, could you ever kind of relate to that?
I don't think so, no, because I was pretty overprotective of you as it was, and I think you can attest to that. It took me, you know, well into after your college years, into your married, you know, life to kind of to let go of some of those protections. So I don't think there's, as soon as somebody commented something funny on something, or something was saved that I thought, I would be trying to find those specific persons to hurt those specific persons, because I know there would be no other but wrong intentions behind it. So monetarily, no, there would, I could say I would be, you couldn't offer me enough money in the world to expose you to that. And I think it takes a certain special kind of person to be able to sacrifice their kid for money.
I think some of them, probably do start out with good intentions, But part of it still feels like, look at how fucking sick my kids are.
Right.
And how much better I am at parenting.
It's very braggadocious. It's not loving in any way. It's very braggadocious. And there's no boundaries set for the kid. There's no, there's no consent. The kid doesn't even know what, if they're even being posted on the internet. A lot of times it's at such a young age that they don't even know what the internet is.
Yeah.
And the minute I saw kids being dressed up like adults, I thought just, wow. Okay. That's going to be interesting. Because I couldn't fathom that as a mom. Dressing you up to look older and then
to parade me around,
flash you around on the internet, because I know what exists out there,
right?
That are just looking for that, and it makes my fucking skin crawl.
Eve did not pack a lunch today. I'm gonna cut its head off. Gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
Now I figured we can show you different clips of different families, and they kind of have different types of child exploitation, and profiting off their children, I should say. And the first one is the 8 passengers.
8 total in the family?
Yeah, so it's the mom and the dad, and then the 6 children.
6 children.
And then
she seems to fucking hate them. So I don't know why she had 6. Anyways.
And they're part of a way larger network of like their extended family. Like aunts and uncles all have like their YouTube channel, and it's just all, it's like a cult.
I was gonna say, that sounds very culty.
They're the Duggars of YouTube, basically.
Fast forward 10 years and something's gonna come out about one of them.
From Eve's teacher. Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunch.
That's a boomer attitude right there.
She did pack a lunch.
Literally, how I was raised. My own father told me that. I am not responsible for your own well-being. Grow up. Seriously, that's normal for my generation to have been raised with people with that same exact attitude. And I don't know why you would bring a child into this world and not think you were responsible.
It's already fucked up enough to like expect a 5-year-old to pack their own lunch every day. But like, I pack my own lunch for work every day, and I still fucking forget it sometimes.
All the time I forget my shit. I can't even remember my protein shake half the fucking time in the morning. Like,
That you're teaching your child that mistakes are the worst case scenario.
That's
and not to rely on you at all.
That's like anxiety inducing, you know what I mean? For a poor 5-year-old,
right?
I thought you hungry all day. My heart would be breaking like all day long. I wouldn't be able to function if I knew that I couldn't get food to you and you were starving.
There's
all
some
day.
Cognitive dissonance that she has with her children.
I stopped making you breakfast till you were well into high school. I think I still brought you breakfast in bed every morning. Well into high school.
And I'm fine.
Yeah, and I made sure you had lunch money every day, and if I forgot it, I brought it to you.
Because I was still your child, your responsibility.
And I know this is shocking, but food is actually essential to healthy development.
Yeah, right? And them learning, like, your brain
and then to
power.
say, I hope nobody steps in. I want her to suffer.
Like, you're
terrible. Like she did the worst possible thing.
Yeah.
They even give prisoners food.
If you cut one more thing in my house, I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off.
You're an evil bitch. I'm talking to you. You're an evil bitch. That's your child.
And to be doing that, like, look at me. Look at me.
Yeah, looking for the camera. That's why I said. That's why I had such a strong reaction. Like, you're
making your child sob in front of a camera.
You're not only not caring, saying you're not responsible for your child's well-being, you're purposely causing them harm to their mental. Like, this is wow.
To teach you how to take a shower. And you are gonna wipe and dry. Danielle are gonna go shopping for each other. Are you romantically involved? You're just good friends. All summer, if she can shave her legs.
I would have never done this to you. Ever.
She's acting like, don't be shy, sweetie. And because this phenomena is so new, we don't really know the full effects of what's going to happen when these kids are entering middle school, high school,
what if they start getting bullied with their, and our boys start like, about sex, huh? You know what I mean? Or they start getting harassed and putting them in situations your children don't want to be in. what is the fucking matter with you?
Because again, you're already eradicating all their boundaries before they even have a chance to make them themselves.
And they're going to grow up and not even have boundaries across the board.
The people clicking on this, they're kids who are trying to like see how it goes.
Maybe they don't have a parent that can show them, a mother who passed away or something.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
But that's
the benefit of the doubt.
But that's not. But then a child also, you shouldn't use another child to teach.
No.
Yeah.
Talk about your own experience.
Yep.
Talk about what it was, I don't
Or
know.
Use your own language.
Or direct them to like instructional videos. You know
your
what I
own
mean?
Stop it. I know you're not, but it looks like you are.
I'm only gonna say it one more time, and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat
Never
dinner.
mind the fact that
Okay.
your youngest
Yeah.
For having a rough tussle with your siblings.
Yeah, that like to lose your privileges to eat dinner.
First of all, that's not a.
it's not a regular
That's
punishment.
a right. That's not a privilege.
Yeah, it's what develops eating disorders and unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
How you develop people like me who think every wrong thing, everything mishap is the worst case scenario, and the world falls apart because of parents like you.
See, they act like kids are like they are like default evil,
Yeah.
and it's their job to like beat the evil
Get
out
the
of
evil
it.
out. Yep.
Anything that happened in the home that was hard for Hux.
Then there was the Myka Stauffer one.
Is that the one who gave her kid away?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mom influencer who she showed a lot of parenting videos and just lifestyle videos as a white suburban mom, you know, the most minority. And she started this whole adoption story arc of adopting this child from China.
Okay. I've seen a little bit about this one.
I think they went in knowing that he had special needs, right?
That was my understanding, but then in their video they say they didn't know. So.
I think they claim they didn't know the extent.
Got it.
But either way, I think if you're going into adopting any child, you should. It's not.
Well, it's the same if you gave birth and the child had special needs.
Right.
You're not going to just be like, well, I don't want this one. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Let me try again later. I don't want this one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that same thought process.
She made 3 years of content about the adoption and about raising this child, right? 3 years.
Yeah, it was a long enough time to where she should have sat back immediately into it if she decided she really couldn't handle this child. Because okay, maybe you really, really, really can't handle this child. Don't spend 3 years profiting off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of.
And then deciding
to give him back.
And the argument that every penny went back into his care, don't buy it.
no.
I do not. How many views were those getting? There's
so many.
fucking way that was all going.
Well, you can easily track that stuff. Just look at their environment. Did it progressively get better? Things like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know it's not going.
Well, they already had.
They
Like,
were already
but
fucking rich.
they have-
Her whole argument, like we couldn't handle him, we couldn't take care of him. You're a rich white family.
They're already the most privileged.
Yes, exactly.
If
Thank
they
you.
have the resources.
Yeah, you
know what
have
I
the
mean?
money.
You are.
You can
yeah.
take care
So
of
who
him.
are you giving him to that's going to try to give better?
Yeah,
That's-
the foster care
Yeah,
system.
that.
My work, because we work with foster care kids, every single kid who goes into foster care also goes into therapy because every single foster care kid is considered immediately to have trauma.
Yeah, they
If
don't.
you had the money, if you were like, I can't care for this child, you fucking already adopted him, get a caretaker, get someone who knows how to help a child like this, and get them to sit in a nanny with you. Don't fucking give him away.
Not only that, again, you have the resources. Even if it's, say, his abilities progress and he needs to go into a facility, you have the means and resources to do that. You know, so
maybe
do that.
Maybe cut back on your vacations a little bit if you have to. You know what I mean? They don't want to sacrifice anything for their child.
I would do that for my dog. You know what I mean?
And it's like and they would do that for their birth children.
Yes.
And
That's
it's
why
and
they
it's-
had no business in the first place.
And it's very harmful putting it out to millions of people that say, look, I treated my adopted child differently than my birth child, because that normalizes that.
Yeah.
When you adopt a child, there's no givesies, backsies.
Today we are talking baby names.
This next mother, her name is Acacia, and she was actually a bit of a child star, an internet star herself when she was like 12. She started getting popular on the website Tumblr.
I just got war flashbacks. Sorry.
And she was in like, the One Direction scene, like the boy bands, teeny bopper scenes.
How embarrassing. Couldn't be me.
I know.
And
You
then
certainly weren't into One Direction or anything.
that's not the point. It's not about me. It's not about us.
But from One Direction came Harry Styles, so it's okay.
I think when she was like 20, she got married, and then she started having babies herself. Which, I mean, so there's like a little bit. I do have a little bit of empathy for her in the fact that it seems like her parents were really around to kind of protect her from like she made the decision to break out herself and like post herself, yeah, but like her parents didn't step in when maybe they should have.
Yeah.
But now that she's older and having children of her own, I'm like, well, this is where you can break the cycle and like this...
Yeah, we don't pass down trauma.
Yeah.
No.
Like, that's
For me, when I immediately got pregnant with you, it was everything in me wanted to cut off every single thing that was toxic. That was outside interference in my life for protection of you. So I don't know, just sounds so interesting.
Mm-hmm. And she has, I think, 3 children, like 2 daughters and a son. And her firstborn is like the golden child, the star of the Instagram posts. And you have she says the forgotten baby.
So we call this baby the forgotten baby.
It's just, she has a genetic disorder, a physical disability that's maybe a little bit more complicated to care for. So they choose to,
Treat her differently?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Alone and unsupervised, alright?
Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
Meanwhile, like the family's 3 feet over, like having.
That's what I was gonna say. Like the family could be right at a frame right there, but still, who lays their baby down like this? The beach. I just wanted to toss it. It's like, oh,
Yeah, this looks good.
Rose is over there.
She's watching the
The
ocean.
seagull doesn't get her.
Family Guy characters fall.
This is so bad.
Oh yeah, what I'm talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Their legs are twisted.
This is so bad.
I
It
don't-
seems like there's several different types of abuse happening. Like sexual, almost borderline sexual exploitation, abusive parents, you know what I mean, sort of thing. And then you have the
Neglect.
the just flat out neglect. I don't see as a parent how you can't see the damage that you're inflicting on your kid. I know as a parent you're not perfect all the time, but this is like intentional damage you're inflicting. TV has been around long enough, not even social media, but TV has been around long enough to see what exploiting your child does to the media or the world,
Right.
via whatever avenue it is, movies, television, social media. We've seen the repercussions. We've seen what happens. A lot of the 80s child stars overdose of drugs.
Like Macaulay Culkin. He had a stint.
It was he was rumored substance abuse for, I don't know if he ever came out and confirmed it, but for years because of how he was forced. It goes way back. I think I read an article about Judy Garland and how they treated her.
Oh yeah,
Wizard of Oz. Like the Wizard of Oz, like heinous torture treatment, which I don't understand how it's always fair game on women and children, no matter what it is we're doing or saying. There seems to be very little protection for us, even when it comes down to a child star and their mother not protecting them or the parent not protecting them.
Like we saw, Jeanette McCurdy's book just came out, I'm Glad My Mom Died. And it talks about just some of the heinous things that her mom put her through for exactly what these people are doing, for money, for attention, exposure, whatever it be. And, and Jeanette has had to go through a lot of therapy, and
the trauma is unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some of the stuff that she's saying that happened with the parents who are supposed to be the ones to protect you that are around is beyond beyond me. And the fact that it still happens in this day and age where there is so much social media and exposure.
And it's worse because these kids' lives are being filmed literally from the time they're literally born to their first steps, going through puberty, going to the first day of school, literally everything. Nothing is safe.
Normal. It's a complete mind fuck. And I don't know how as a parent you want to willingly just like kind of throw your kid into the child or the lion's den, or be just the willing participant is beyond me. Go back and look at the Britney Spears photos of how they exploited her when she was 16. 16, and these were supposed to be in her childhood bedroom with her childhood dolls, and it's gross. And her parents were there. If you were 16 and some photographer and this was your room was trying to photograph you like this, he would no longer be alive.
Right.
I don't understand. She said, and she said, and she just came out and said, she was like, I was so oblivious. I thought like they just really wanted to see the dolls that I liked growing up with. You know what I mean? And she only recently looked back to see how fucking grotesque they are. Look at the high heel. It's gross.
Also,
look at her with the children's bike bending over. She's a teenager in that one as well. And look how they sexualize a child's, like an 8 or 9 year old's bike with the booty shorts that says baby on it. It's gross. And she had no choice in this. When you're that age, you do not know. Cheerleader lifting up her skirt. 16, you don't know the implications of this until it's too late, and you get older and you go, I would have never consented to that.
Right.
You're violated, you're traumatized, and now this poor thing has these issues she has to deal with just being sexualized from this age. And I feel for her so
And even now, even though
badly.
she's exposed, or even though she's free from her conservatorship, I mean, people are still looking at every turn to exploit her. You know, Kevin Federline just posted those freaking videos of her just trying to be a good parent. Like, it trains
people for abuse.
It trains us as an audience to think it's okay.
To get used to the abuse.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't even bat an eye, and it's absolutely not okay by any means. And again, the people that suffer are the children that have no choice. They do not understand until they get older and they have to deal with the repercussions of not having proper consent.
So what do you think about all that?
I just think there's always been, unfortunately, lack of oversight.
Well, also with these parents, there has to be some sort of actual like parental disconnect there, because like with you, there's always some sort of maternal instinct to protect.
The protection should always come in.
Yeah.
That's why I'll never understand parents who knowingly put their kid in harm's way. And again, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I know I gave you some issues that you're working out in therapy. I fully acknowledge that. But I never intentionally threw you and put you in harm's way. And if anybody, and I think you know I was overprotective at some times. If anybody ever came at you like this, or if you wanted to be in this industry or be a star, a child star, or an internet star before you became the age of 18, I would have you on a short leash. I would be around you at all times.
Right.
Anything that was happening would be a fuck no. And if it came down to pulling you out of the industry because it just wasn't safe enough, I would fucking pull you out of the industry because it wasn't safe enough, if it made you hate me at the time or not. Because as a parent, that's your job. So I don't understand, especially these kind of internet ones, to where you can really get away with some shit. You're really using the sexual exploitation side of it, kind of grotesquely, and the same thing
to your advantage.
Yes.
Instead of protecting your child from it.
And the same thing they do to the women in the music industry. So it's, I mean,
and it's scary that we've seen the effects of but it just seems it's just getting worse and worse.
People aren't talking. I mean, people talk about it, but nothing seems to happen. Like, I really think there needs to be some laws regarding what you can post on the internet about a child that's 18 or below, a child having their own account of that size, you know what I mean? And also oversight in the entertainment industry, where things happen behind the scenes, always a third party mediator, regulator outside the parent, because the parent does not always have
the best interest
of the child. And unfortunately, from my experience, 60 to 70% of people out there should not be parents. And you all should take a look at yourself and say, hey, I have issues, and maybe if I work on those issues and get therapy, I can become a place where I should have children, but nobody does that. They just start having babies before they've even figured themselves out.
And that's something I like. Full disclaimer, be whatever religion you want, practice it safely, all good. The thing is, every single person in these is like that we've watched has been like a Christian or Mormon or a godly person, and those are religions that push your purpose is to make kids. Your purpose is to reproduce, populate the earth. So people are following that, making children, and then they don't fucking know what to do with them.
Nobody's teaching, nobody's has understanding of anything that they're doing, and again, it's all happening at such a young age to where you haven't, there's still stuff changing in your brain. You don't know how to deal with certain situations, and a lot of the times, again, unpopular opinion religion, you're coming from a place of abuse as a woman or a girl, and then you're going to have a baby where you already have trauma of abuse that you haven't dealt with, and it's just a breeding ground for disaster, excuse lack of a better term there. I've been very honest. I had you at a very young age. I had trauma that I hadn't dealt with. I know there was issues there when I had you. I was lucky enough for me that I was somewhat self-aware at the age where I didn't put all of my issues on you. But a lot of people don't, and then they just breed trauma.
And the cycle continues.
And we're not getting anywhere in society until people really need to look at themselves and say, am I ready, mentally ready to have a child? You know what I mean? Which is why we didn't have another child. We had one, we knew that was our limit, you know? And it's just about being honest, not being I'm a shitty mom or I'm a shitty person or I'm a shitty parent. It's being honest with yourself. That's what I can mentally handle. One, you know? And it shouldn't be any negative connotation. The same with if I don't want to have children. There should be no negative connotation. Well, what's wrong with you? Why don't you want to have any kids? There must be something wrong. No, I don't need that fulfillment in my life. That's not something that I need. And until people take that negative stigma off it and really talk about and get real, people are just going to have kids and 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 use them like this to profit off of them.
If you guys like today's video, please drop a like, and if you have any suggestions on what I should show my mom that's weird and interesting, drop a comment. And if you want to see more videos, please subscribe.